Hello, everyone. So, I'm gonna do something special. My favorite FNAF fan game is, well, Frickbears 3. However, I'm gonna do something that some people have not done ever. Discover what is SP characters. SP characters are pretty simple. They're basically like alterations of characters. Like, for example, BB has an SP, and it changes his mechanic a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a frick ton. So we're gonna see what changes have been made, and put them on a tier list to see how difficult they are, from easiest animatronic to hardest animatronic. Let's see what these stuff are. So the first guy we're gonna go over is, out of all of these bunch, Toy Freddy. Toy Freddy acts pretty simple. Rather than having to do one minigame, you have to do 8 minigames, which is a lot. Yeah, a lot. There is, like, challenges, by the way, but I don't know what the hell the challenges are, sorry. So, yeah. In terms of SP characters, I would put Toy Freddy in difficult/medium. He will probably kill you a few times, but I feel like you could at least get the gist of it. The only thing that would probably be difficult is if you get something like Puppet Patrol or Thread Sweeper, but other than that, I think he's not that bad. Next up is BB, and BB is the start of what's definitely gonna be a doozy. What they do, and turn it into what's basically going to be for the entire night. BB will take away your flashlight for the entire night. Yep, he takes away your flashlight. BB in Frickbears 3 itself is already difficult, especially when he like kills you randomly instead of turning off your flashlight. But turning off your flashlight will probably put him in difficult/medium. Not as bad as some of the others we'll get to, but definitely like harder than Toy Freddy. Next up on the roster is Shadow Freddy. And Shadow Freddy does something that's honestly so brutally difficult I can't even fathom it. He will, and I'm not joking when I say this, turn off your power for the entire night. So basically, you're just in a blackout. Okay, well, frick that, but but there's somehow one other character that's somehow even worse. So, but I still think Shadow Freddy is very hard regardless, so I'm gonna put him in very difficult. Phantoms. And, okay, the Phantoms, now what the Phantoms do is, drumroll please, Phantom BB, Phantom Freddy, and Phantom Foxy will not appear throughout the night, and Phantom Mangle, Phantom Puppet, and Phantom Chica will be the only ones. Okay, well, unlike the others, I actually do know what custom night challenge they're in, and that is Ladies' Night. So, obviously, the female Phantoms have to be in this, so I guess the others play Uno. Considering the fact that they honestly this is probably going to be the only SP animatronic that actually probably makes their mechanic easier, I'm going to put them in the easiest animatronic tier. Compared to all the others, they are definitely the easiest one on this list. Taking away 3 Phantoms is probably a plus, to be honest. Alright, next up on the chopping block, we got Music Man. And let me tell you, he is definitely going to be a pain in your ass. He will, and I'm not joking when I say this, mute every single audio aside from the background music and jump scare sounds for the night. So you will not hear anything. I think you get why this animatronic is difficult. Yeah, frick that. Music Man is definitely going to be very difficult. However, would I rather go Blackout for the night, or I'm going with Blackout for the night, because at least you can still hear everything, and from a game that's like is very important to hear, yeah, I do not want that stripped away from me. I mean, unless I can listen to the background more. I guess next up we have, by far the worst Springtrap variant, Mowhair. No, I will not take that back. Seriously, I really don't like Malhair in FNAF, and this design in frickbears 3 barely even changes anything. Of all the Springtrap variants they brung, aside from Springtrap himself, why Malhair? I mean, I think they might be adding Scrap Trap, but they're not even adding Burn Trap. Jesus Christ, it actually annoys me so much. Anyways, what does Malhair do, you may ask? Well, it's probably the more simpler ones, but still hard regardless. Malhair will only give you one camera flip. Yeah, that's it. I don't know if Puppet is active on the same night, but if she is, then I don't even know how that's possible. So Malhair is going in very difficult, and honestly, I think Malhair might be above the other two. I don't know, because at least you have access to cameras, like rather than only having access to one camera flip. And if you have Puppet on the same night, yeah, that is just pure AIDS. Next up on the chopping block, we have... Oh my god. We have a character that turns from easy to probably the hardest character in the entire game. Lol's Hacks. Oh boy. Let me explain what he does. So Lol's Hacks will... Every single hour, Lol's Hacks will generate 3 animatronics with the maximum AI of 20. Jesus Christ. Yes, I am not joking. He will literally randomize his, which it's not like predictable. He will randomize these 3 characters at 20 AI. By far the hardest animatronic in this, and probably the hardest thing to do in the entire game. Because if you get something like Malhair and Funtime Foxy, or Endo02 and Springtrap, you're just straight up done, man. You're just straight up done. Like, seriously. Especially if you get something like Puppet or Malhair, that is AIDS. Cupcake and Nightmarion, etc, etc, etc. You will just straight up die. Anyways, now that we got the hardest sprite animatronic, I guess it will get easier from here, I guess. I have no idea. So, next up on the list, we have Coffee. A character that I do actually quite like the design of. I think this guy looks goofy. But he kind of has a mechanic that's AIDS, sadly. Basically, if you don't know what his mechanic is, you play Pong with him. So what if you took that and made it so it's literally the entire night, because that is what he does. He makes you play Pong for the entire night, and I think it speeds up the more hours pass by. Okay, yeah. Having to deal with a guy who plays Pong for the entire night, yeah, that's AIDS, but compared to the other 3, he's definitely the easiest. And next up, we got Scott Cawthon. I mean, him, dude. And, he's weird. Basically, at the start of the game, he will make you play one game with only 1 life, more harder rooms, and that's it. Literally, that's it. Don't get me wrong, well, having to deal with a game that is really difficult, compared to all of the other characters, Scott is kind of treated like a joke. Okay, and before you ask, the reason why I think that is because, I mean, once you beat that game at the start of the run, you just... That's it. You just get the hardest thing out of the way in the night, and then you just smooth sailing. So I think he goes in difficult/medium. Heck, you can argue if he goes in easy or not. And I guess that's purely up to debate. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I might move Toy Freddy down to easy, since technically speaking, most of the mini games are pretty easy. So I think you can handle Toy Freddy a bit. And finally, for the chopping block, we have, drumroll please, Chipper. And, he's a weird one. So basically, you know his log, right? You know, the classic log where you have to, like, pay 22 tokens. Yeah, imagine that, but he really needs to pay his taxes, so he just decides to bump it up to 300. Also, that's a bad as hell haircut. What the hell? Not gonna lie, I do actually kind of wish you made it was kind of like a Toy Freddy thing where you had to buy multiple logs. But I don't really care. And besides, I think Chipper's probably one of the more easier ones, so I'm just gonna put him in difficult/medium. Don't get me wrong, having to get 300 coins is AIDS. That's for sure. That's just pure AIDS. But like, you only have to buy one. It's kind of like a Scott thing. Once you get the hardest thing out of the way, it's smooth sailing. And that is every single SP animatronic in Frickbears 3. Now, I do think that, like, there's going to be more. There is going to be more animatronics. Maybe there was some that could have SP. Like, for example, we did get a recent reveal at Orville's mechanic where you have to, like, find a card. I bet there's going to be a mechanic where you have to get more than one card. Yeah, I could just imagine it. Orville's magician tricks. You have to pull 2 cards out of your urethra and out of your ass, and then when he appears to address the elephant in the room, you have to shove those cards so far up your ass to the point where you cannot feel the clothes on your body. I could just imagine it. Not gonna lie, if that actually happened, that would probably be one of the more easier ones, considering how we talked about. Yeah. So, yeah. If I had to rank them from easiest, it's the hardest. I would probably rank Phantoms the easiest, since they actually probably make the mechanic easier. Toy Freddy, who sure, the mechanics can be a bit clunky if you get a bad minigame, but overall, I don't think it's that bad. Out of all the 3 ones, Scott is probably going to be the easiest one, considering the fact that, like, sure, his mechanic is hard regardless, but so are all these ones on the list, except for, like, Toy Freddy and the Phantoms. So, yeah, and besides, once you get that out of the way, it's kind of smooth sailing. I mean, I guess you could get another game, but I have no idea. Chipper is weird. He's definitely hard for sure, but, like, I don't think he's as hard as the others, so I put him in difficult. BB is 8. It's definitely the hardest of the 3 in difficult/medium. Then I'll do Coffee, and then Coffee, Shadow Freddy, Music Man Mount Air, and the hardest, Lozhax, considering the fact that he is unpredictable. I feel like Lozhax and Vector will make really good friends. Boo! And congratulations, you made it to the end of this explain/ranking. Yeah. I'm not gonna try these myself, because 1, I do not have Frickbears 3 installed, and 2, I don't want to contract chlamydia from getting banged by freaking Lozhax, so, yeah. I mean, if you do it, at least put a condom on. Anyways, that is it, my folks, so good night.